Wait, it is an excellent day to be back. All right, my name is Caroline, and we are back on another, I guess we can call it episode now. I don't even know what to start calling it, of Talk to the Experts. And today I have Livia with me. Livia is the Chief Executive Optimist. I love how she puts that, and business coach. She teaches small business owners how to successfully pivot online and thrive. And prior to discovering the world of entrepreneurship and online business, Livia worked in emergency services for over a decade as a firefighter. Wow, such EMT. We got to talk about that, Livia. And
You
she
bet.
worked as a search and rescue member. She also completed a degree in international relations, political science, and economics. And while still in university full time and recovering from career ending injury, Livia established two fully online run businesses. The first being an independent consulting, graphic design, marketing service business, adding an e commerce clothing brand to her portfolio 3 months later. COVID-19 has accelerated her already planned pivot into business coaching as she sees leadership, hope, and actionable advice as what is most needed to make the biggest difference in people's lives at the moment. All in all, Livia's background and experience enables her to have a very holistic view of our current situation, and she loves sharing her strategies and words of encouragement with as many people as possible. How excellent and amazing to have you here this morning, Livia. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Carol. I'm so glad and grateful to be on here to have this platform to share my ideas and my thoughts on what's going on. And I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I'm very excited to have you. So, wait, let's talk about that firefighter EMT part of things. Was that something you wanted to do all along? What was that experience like? And how did that inform what you're doing today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I kind of stumbled into it actually, to be honest. I was working in an outdoor store because I spent a lot of time in the mountains, climbing and mountaineering and things
Yeah.
like that. So through that, I ended up working at an outdoor camp year round in a very small community in the middle of nowhere in Alberta.
Oh.
And from there, yeah, from there I got involved in the volunteer fire department.
Mhm.
And from there, I ended up taking it to the next level where I went and got my EMR and my EMT training.
Right.
So I ended up working as an EMT in the province of Alberta, and then alongside of that as a firefighter, and then I volunteered as a search and rescue member, both for like within the city and
Yeah.
then outside in the mountains as well. So, hmm and how
Amazing.
it has informed my decision making, I guess, at time like this, it was an excellent preparation for developing a very calm and rational mindset, I guess, in
Yeah.
times of crisis and acute
Yeah.
situations like this, where, yeah, I think I have a lot more calm outlook on what's going on than a lot of other people. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you've seen so much and from your work, just being able to learn a lot of strategy and being able to be calm and helping people in the face of crisis. That's really cool. I think that's so like exactly what you're doing right now. So just in a totally different way, right?
Exactly, and you nailed it right there, where it's like I'm essentially still providing the same service, just in a very different industry and in a
Yeah.
very different manner right now.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. So we've seen so much happen in the last 2 months with businesses and just things rapidly changing in the business landscape. And to tell me what have you seen, how has COVID-19 affected many businesses, yours included, and what adjustments have you seen people had to make, and even you, what adjustments have you made since all of this kind of started?
Absolutely. So I think the one super obvious adjustment that everybody has had to make, if they had a physical location, that's no longer an option for running a business unless you are considered a essential business.
Hmm.
So the biggest transition has been for people trying to get online and selling their services and their products as digital services or
Right.
through the digital environment if possible. Now, I guess the friends that I have talked to, for instance, DJ Kara, who I just had on my podcast the other day, that's a very in person, venue dependent job, right? And a
Mm.
service that she provides. So her pivot has been doing online live through Instagram and creating mixes and putting them
Mm,
on places like SoundCloud. Unfortunately, from what she told me, that's not a revenue generating
right.
activity right now, but hopefully it will transform into that eventually.
Right.
And then other places like our mutual friend Shona from Heartspace Interiors,
Mm-hmm.
who I was on her podcast. What she's done is not that much different from how she's usually worked. She still does consultations online even
Right.
before COVID. But yeah, now she has to adjust her, I guess, her sourcing and her delivery more than anything.
Right. Right.
Right. So, people are, what's the word I'm looking for? They they adjust, they adapt, they evolve, right? And they find ways to still provide the service that they need to if they can.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, a lot of people and businesses have had to completely shut down.
Right.
Restaurants, I guess, is another really great
Mm-hmm.
industry to point out where, you know, it, at first everything just completely shut down and came to a stop, but then
Mm-hmm.
people started thinking it's like, okay, well, we can do delivery, we can do online order and takeouts, so that's how they've adjusted. So yeah, it's interesting to see how people, once they have to make that mental switch,
Yeah.
what they come up with. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like been in such a high pressure situation, right? The brilliance in us just comes out. Sometimes you're like, and for some people, it might be something that they've been thinking about doing, but they've not really had that inertia, that push to do it because they had no reason to, because what they were doing before was pretty much working, right? And now
Mhm.
there's this push to do something different, and you're so surprised how much you can be innovative within a few weeks, right?
Innovative, that's the word I was looking for earlier. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, what about you? How has the whole situation affected your own business, and what adjustments have you had to make?
Right. So I actually have been fortunate enough that I was already running a fully online businesses, like you mentioned in
Awesome.
your wonderful intro. So for me, it actually has not been a great adjustment at all. My operations have not changed. I've always worked fully online, communicating through email and through
Mm-hmm.
platforms like Zoom. Um, and then running e-commerce, all my orders are done through online platforms as well. So I
Awesome.
use Shopify for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest adjustment for me is in terms of my clients having a smaller budget, because obviously this is affecting
Right.
everybody's financial situation. And then, of course, lesser sales on the customer sides of the e-commerce. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And everyone's kind of feeling the brunt of what's going on different levels. So that's absolutely understandable. But, that kind of leads me to the next question here. With everyone feeling the brunt of what's happening, whether you're still able to run your business online or you are adjusting to the new trends, how can business owners, especially small businesses, how can you really get through this COVID-19 situation successfully, whether your clients are slowly or rapidly reducing their budget, or basically from what you've seen, how can we navigate this successfully?
right. So I've been actually doing free webinars and sharing this strategy that I've developed, and it's very simple. It's called STAT. And it actually comes from my medical background, because I don't know if your audience knows what that means if they watch medical shows, but STAT means right now, right? So it's
Yeah.
a very appropriate for acute situation like what we find ourselves in right now. So this strategy goes STOP, which is all about the mindset, right? So, it's easy to panic in a situation like this and make the wrong decision. So the best thing you can do is just stop and evaluate the situation that's around you, and,
Mm-hmm.
try and make as much of a logical decision as you possibly can going from there. And also, try to do things that give you that positive mindset, like really good self-care, and don't put aside things that normally bring you joy just because something great like this is going on in the
Right.
world. So mindset is a big thing. So stop and think about that. And think is actually the T in the stat, which is, think through the situation first,
Yeah.
but then also look at what things do you have to offer, right? Like
Mm.
maybe you are providing a service that you can't do right now, but there's all these other skills that you have developed running your business. So, can you go teach somebody how to start a business and, bring an income this way? Can you start an online membership where you can either be paid or just, give your time away and share your expertise to
Mm.
encourage other people? So, what do you have to offer to the marketplace, right? And then act is once you think of these things, then go ahead and do them, right? It's as simple as that. Just
Yeah.
go do it and get some feedback. And once you get that feedback, we come to the last T, which is tweak. So just make the adjustments
Mm.
that you need, to be even more successful. From like the first action gives you the baseline, and then
Right.
how do you go from there and raise it up, right?
Right.
So it's very, very simple, and it's kind of a circular strategy as well. So stop, think, act, and tweak.
I like how simple and intuitive it kind of is, right? You kind of like, oh, that's what it means. Oh yeah, sure. And it's so easy to remember too. Awesome. So from what you've said now, especially the thinking part of it, right? It's thinking of what you can do, like as a business, what skills you have, and all that stuff. But in practical terms, and from your experience too, working with a variety of businesses, what have you found that in terms of is it all businesses that can really successfully pivot online? And in terms of income, like the DJ you mentioned, for example, he or she is able to you know continue DJing online and doing live sessions, but it hasn't generated income yet. So is it really all businesses that can successfully pivot online, or is it more of some businesses will be able to go online, may not be able to generate income, but will still keep creating awareness, and how do we balance all of this too in the light of this situation that we're in right now?
Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that the biggest thing right here is think long term, right? Because yes, there will be some businesses that can take exactly what they're doing and still generate income online. So say for instance, another lady that I spoke to recently, Dwania from Canadian Small Business Women, I think is her Instagram account and her business. So they do a lot of in-person events and like conferences style.
Hmm.
So what they've done is actually taken that online. So they do it virtually, but they're still charging for that, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
mhm. So that's something that's possible. And then with using DJ Kara as example, I think that the potential there is now that people are realizing that this is going to last for a while, and they're actually creating these online virtual events where she could be the guest DJ and charge for that as if she was
Mm.
participating in an actual event. So I think that's a possibility. I mean, she hasn't done that yet, so I can't
Right.
confirm,
Yeah.
but that would be one way to do it. And then, of course, the most obvious example would be a physical store selling, you have clothes behind you. So it comes to mind, clothing lines. And that's a very easy way to take online. You set up your Shopify
Right.
store, and they actually have a 90-day free trial right now. So for 3 months, you can have a website selling your merchandise of whatever
And
kind.
seeing how it goes.
Yeah, for free. And you
Awesome.
know, it's like you said, you're maybe people were already thinking of it before, but they didn't have the incentive,
Hmm.
sufficient push to go and do it. So
Right.
now you can, again, thinking long term, yes, maybe it won't work that well in the first month, but maybe the second month you'll start seeing some sort of results. And then by the third month, you'll see a double of that. And by the time this is all over, and you can go sell in your physical store, you will have that additional means of selling and revenue income coming from your online store as well. So
Right.
I think long term is what's going to win the game here, where just if you can possibly invest in yourself right now
Right.
and build the awareness like you said. So don't stop marketing if you can
Mm.
afford it, right? Serve your audience as best as you can. So if you have an email list, keep sending them tips and encouragement, or create these online communities where you can just share ideas. And just stay top of mind, because people will remember the business owners who were there for
Right.
them during this time.
Right.
And then once they have the sufficient finances, they'll go and buy from you, because they're like, hey,
Hmm.
you didn't disappear, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, that's fantastic. And talking about long term too, I'm assuming there'll be new trends that would be coming out of it. So probably already coming out of it. And what are you seeing in terms of trends that may be coming out already, or trends that we need to be looking out for?
Right. Yeah. So the one that I've already mentioned that I think is the biggest one, is digitize your services or
Right.
your products, right? So find a way to do it. If you can set up an online store, that's one way to do it. If you can, you know, if you're a business coach, like, use Zoom or
Hmm.
any other sort of visual communication that you can, that's virtual, and do your sessions this way, or just even hop on a phone, like,
Right.
that's still an option. Um, but yeah, just set up a website. That is the easiest way to set up your platform and get your thoughts and your ideas and your services and your products across. So that's one of them. And then the second one that I've already also mentioned is the building communities. Because
Mm.
right now, no one has, the blueprint on how to navigate this. Like, yes, we can share strategies. Yes, we can, recommend things to do that make sense and that have worked in the past. But this reality is, this is a completely new situation for everybody, right?
Absolutely.
So the more you can gather collective knowledge within your community and within your circle of influence, the better decisions you can make, right?
Yeah.
And you get the support, which, emotionally and mentally we all need. So
Right.
that's the other biggest trend. And the third one is actually, if you can find a way to turn your business into an essential business right now, then you're set, right? So a lot of, again, using clothing companies as an example,
That's
have
right.
pivoted into creating masks right now,
Yeah.
right? And gowns and things. So something like that. The other great example is Majid Minhas. She's on the Dragons series as well. She has a distillery in Calgary, so making alcoholic beverages, and
Right.
they've actually pivoted into creating hand sanitizer. So,
Amazing. Yeah.
still using the equipment that you had before,
Hmm.
and dealing with the same sort of product, which is alcohol,
Yeah.
but just transforming into something completely different that is essential right now.
That's really needed right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully
Awesome.
that gives your audience some ideas on how, they can take their services and products and turn them into something different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I especially like that part of making yourself become essential.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. So tell me, Livia, how are you able to support? I know that in your business, you help you coach other business owners, and so how are you able to support small businesses through these crazy times?
So as you mentioned in your introduction, I've actually accelerated my pivot into business coaching through this, because right now, as we're discussing, I think that people need that hope, they need that direction, they need that leadership. And having had that experience over the last 3 years of being online, I can provide that advice, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So, what I have been doing is spending a lot of time on my social media, sharing tips and advice on Instagram. So, I can be found at happy.leo.designs for that. And then another thing I have been doing is creating these or running these free webinars with the Q&A sessions at the end. So,
Awesome.
sharing the strategies and the mindsets, and then giving people the opportunity to get advice one-on-one as well. And from that, I have actually created, or am in the process of finishing up creating a course, online course that will be very reasonably priced, so that it will be affordable for everybody who needs it right now.
Hmm.
So we'll link that up for your viewers so they can access that. And I'm
Thank
actually
you.
giving your viewers a 20% discount if they let me know that this is how they heard about it. So
Awesome. That's
just let me
terrific.
know that Caroline sent you,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about that later, and I'll show you how you can enjoy that discount as well. But yeah, you keep going ahead.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
good
And
value
the
stuff.
other thing that came out of this, just talking to people and seeing the need for sharing people's businesses and how they're dealing with this so that we can all learn from it and succeed together. I've actually just created a podcast that the first episode will be coming out this week, hopefully tomorrow, maybe Wednesday,
Cool.
depending on when I get it all edited.
Yeah.
But yes, so if anybody in your audience is interested in sharing their journey and their successful pivot online, I would love to have them on as a guest.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So I'm just gonna go right ahead and talk a little bit more about some of the things you already mentioned here. Okay. So without let's just talk about it. So basically what Livia has mentioned is for the course that she is in the process of developing, and it's almost done. I think it's about 90% done now. Livia, is that right?
That's about correct, yes.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
finishing touches.
Awesome. Good. And that will, I think from what we talked about, that we include the whole stats strategy and what businesses should really be doing right now in these crazy times to make sure that you can do something, you can take that step to helping your business successfully navigate this current situation. And if all you need to do is mention that you came across Livia's episode on Talk to the Expert series. And if you do that, once it's launched, he's going to be giving you a 20% savings on that course. And if you have a story to share of a successful pivot that you've done online and how your business is thriving through COVID-19, she would love to have you on her podcast to share your story. We all need some inspiration, some hope, some leadership, like Livia has said, and it would be amazing to hear your story and help other people be inspired by what you've done. One more
And it's
thing that
free
you
marketing as well, so
Oh yeah. Nobody ever says no to free marketing.
exactly.
Again, one more thing that Livia is doing is she's providing complimentary consultation for business owners that need to address specific business situation on how to navigate this whole current situation. So if you have any of those needs, these are the ways that you can reach Livia: through our email, through a website, and our Instagram post. So you can, Livia, can they DM you?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I'm
Okay,
very active on my Instagram, and yeah, I
awesome.
love to chat through DMs.
Awesome. Yeah, pretty easy. So DM's basically
Yeah,
like texting only on Instagram, right? So pretty
exactly.
easy
And
to reach her that way.
it is, and they made it even simpler now when you can send your voice messages as well, so makes it
Yep.
even quicker.
Yep. Too lazy to type, send a voice note.
Sometimes it's just easier, when it's on your mind, you can just like record it in instead of trying to word it.
Yeah, that's right. Because it takes another effort, another brain power sort of to start putting it in words and typing. And yeah, but absolutely.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Livia. This has been really good. I'll just love you to one more time go over that stat because I really love it. And to just round up today and just go over the stat strategy and talk about it more a little bit, and anything else that you would like to add.
Yeah, of course. And thank you very much. If I forget at the end of this, I really appreciate this opportunity to be on
Totally.
here. And I appreciate the invite and, the opportunity to share with your audience. And I'm so glad that you actually enjoyed this stat strategy because I'm pretty proud of myself for coming up with it. So, not gonna lie. I actually have another one that's 4 letters in the course. That's kind of the next step up, but I'll keep that
Yeah. Yeah.
secret for now so that
No, we
people
don't want
have
to
the
let all the cat out
incentive
of the
to go
bag.
learn. Yeah, and the other thing about the course that I'd like to add is it will actually, I've done the research for all the online platforms, so it will actually give you a very detailed list of what platform would be best for you if you have, a specific kind of business, and what are the cons and pros of the different ones.
Nice.
So I go through that in detail and I compare them. So
Oh,
a
nice.
lot of time saving right there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You don't need to do the research all over again.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so to go back over the stat strategy, it was stop, think, act, and tweak. So stop is all about your mindset. So make sure that you take a minute, you stop, you assess the situation for what it is. Try and get the emotions out of the way, get all the fear out of the way as much as possible. Be very logical about it and try to be as positive as possible. So take in positive news instead of seeing the charts of the deaths going on,
Yeah.
like listen to a positive podcast instead, that gives you the advice on what you can do instead of, worrying about what you cannot control
Right.
at the moment.
Right.
So that's an easy way to spiral into very deep, dark place that no one
That's
wants to
right.
be in. So yeah, so stop and take hold of your mindset, and then go ahead and think through the things that you can offer within the marketplace. So whether that is the same service and products that you're offering at the moment and before COVID, and how you can switch those around and digitize them and put them into the virtual space online, or what other expertise you have to offer that
Yeah.
you've skills that you've developed along the way running your business that you can now either enter into a different industry completely,
Hmm.
or if you can teach somebody what it is they need to do to start a business. Like the knowledge industry is a huge thing right now, right?
Right.
And then the next letter is A for act, and that is as simple as it sounds. Just take the actions now that you've assessed the situation and you've thought through logically what you can possibly do about it to make your life better. Just go and carry those things out.
Hmm.
So take the action, and small steps every day will eventually
Right.
bring you to your goals. So don't get overwhelmed by the enormity of the situation, and
Hmm.
oh my goodness, I have to do this, and I have to start an email list, and I have to learn how to do Facebook advertising, and blah 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 blah, right? Like, okay, what do you need to do today? Like, you need to go buy a domain, right? Like,
Right.
call it good for the day, like you've accomplished something, right?
Right.
And then go set up and connect your website to your domain, right? That's your next step. And then, put your logo up and write the description of your business. And then, small steps like that.
Yeah.
Eventually, you will have a
Website.
business online. So, exactly, right? And then once you take these actions and you start to get some traffic to your website, you will get the necessary feedback that you can make adjustments from. So that's the tweak, and that's the last T of the stat strategy. So yeah, essentially, whatever actions you take initially, they set your baseline, and then from there, once you get the feedback, you can improve, and then your baseline will raise, and then you'll improve again, and that will raise your baseline again. So that's
Right.
how you hopefully reach success and your goals, is that small steps over time with adjustments lead to bigger achievements. And yeah.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. I got to remember that myself every day. Like, baby steps. It's got to be baby steps. Yeah. Because
Exactly.
sometimes we seem just bogged down by the enormity of everything, going on. And oh my gosh, so I have to do this A to Z. And it's like, just do A today. That's all you need to do. And then pick
Exactly.
tomorrow for B. And then you keep going. Thank you so much, Livia. This has been very, very interesting. And I'm excited to start talking to people about stat. It's just a little fun word that you can easily remember, and it just gives you that push to keep going. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us, and thank you for sharing everything that you've been doing. It's been really nice having you.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much. I'll see you later.